Okay, so I wanted to get started asking about what attracted you to star in the film and what you really liked about the script and the character and what that experience was like of becoming attached to star in the film.
Okay. Yeah, so I remember it was during the pandemic and I was auditioning actually for another romantic comedy. And it was, a smaller part, but I remember really feeling, this I was very much in the zone. I was like, oh my God, I really want to do a romantic comedy. And I remember speaking this and saying, I would really like to do something about divorce, especially because I've experienced it. I feel like it would somehow give me some kind of healing. I don't know, make sense of that experience. And then I kid you not, 2 weeks later, the producer that I was auditioning for another a romantic comedy. She's like, Vannessa, this romantic comedy is not going, but I have another one for you. I already showed the producers and the directors. They love your what was it that she sent it? Oh, it was my stand-up reel that I had done a couple of years ago, and it was still floating around. And I was like, oh my God, you sent them that thing? And they're like, yeah, they actually loved it. And they think you're the girl for this part. And, she's like, it's about divorce. And I was like, oh my God, you're speaking my language. Not that I've experienced a lot of divorce. I hope I don't. um, but yeah, I read it and I just felt like I understood the character, all the insecurities she was going through and the anxiousness of, falling in love again. And yeah, I just next thing you know, we're on set and we're all having a blast. It didn't really feel, like we were working. It felt like we were all just kind of, telling a fun story.
Mhm. And also speaking of the fact that the story is kind of relatable, and while I was watching the film, I felt like a lot of people could relate to like your character's insecurities and kind of trying to find maybe validation on social media as well. And is that something that you really wanted to explore? And was that like a part of the character that you felt was really relatable as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a sense of like social media where even though you're not really trying, there's something about it that kind of makes you feel like there's kind of makes you compare your life, right? Everyone's posting how these things, their life, their stories, and you're getting updates on all this stuff, but it's not really real, you know. But it still kind of gets in your head of you just kind of makes you feel somewhat insecure, and I think more than anything is just her kind of Alexis putting this experiment on social media to see if her friends are going to go after her husband. It just kind of is very telling of how important how much importance we give to social media nowadays, right?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, also, I wanted to ask about getting to work with the film's director, Patrick, and really collaborating together to develop your character of Alexis and really her arc through the film.
Yeah, the director, Patrick is great. It was my first time working with him, and we just finished wrapping another romantic comedy recently. But what I loved working about with him was that immediately the first day on set, um, he was very much like, Vannessa, I've seen what you can do, and I don't want you to hold back. I want you to bring out the character and all kinds of, you have an idea, you have a creative idea, bring it to me, we'll try it, we'll see how it works. Just having that openness with him, I felt as an actor, as an artist, very open to create. And when you have a director that also understands that, it allows everyone to open up that creative energy that we have, to allow us to see what works and what we can make it funnier and better in each take and every moment.
And also, speaking of that, having that creative freedom, did Patrick also encourage you and the rest of the cast to improv at all on set, or what was that experience like of really incorporating your own ideas into the film?
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a lot of improvisation. We ad-libbed a lot. And there were sometimes we had ideas for jokes and would bring them up and they were like, all right, let's try it. Christina, the writer, was on set a lot, and we kind of, and even some of the other writers that were there, the people that created the story. Um, Sometimes we'd have that collaboration. We'd sit down and talk about a scene, see if there was any other way we can workshop it. But yeah, it was we all, I think it was a very much collaborative effort, with a lot of room to play, um, but still feel like it was professional, right? It's not like it's all over the place or people just disrespecting the script. It still very much felt controlled, in a sense of, there's a story structure that we're following, and let's follow the story, but at the same time, let's play.
Mhm. And also, what was the experience like getting to work with the rest of the cast, especially with Justin, who plays your character's husband, and really building that dynamic between his character and Alexis as well?
Yeah, Justin and Eric and Joe, like Joseph, it's just everyone. Everyone would just like had good spirits on set. Like there was never a day where you felt like anyone's personality was rigid. I mean, it was also during the pandemic, and I think a lot of us just felt so grateful to be there. It was sort of like our little escape, from the trauma that was going on in the world.
Mhm.
And we were all just so happy and grateful to be there. Everyone's happy, and Eric is a lot of fun. He's such a beautiful personality. He gets along with everyone. Justin as well. They're all very humble guys, with big hearts and a lot of fun energy, which I'm more really on set when I'm working. I get into more of a hermit. Like because there's something about the characters I tend to play have a lot of energy, and then I really like need to rest. In between, I just kind of go into my little quiet mode and shut down just to preserve energy. But they kept going. They're like, hey, they just have all this like
Yeah.
amazing energy. And they look at me, they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, just here being a little hermit.
Mhm.
Waiting, but they were so lovely to work with for sure.
Mhm. And during the production, what was it also like creating the physicality for your character as well, especially like the scenes where she's returning to work and doing like the hand modeling, and was that something that you also enjoyed doing as well during production?
Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
We had a lot of fun. We definitely had to choreograph some of the um the big scenes where there was a lot of physical comedy.
Mhm.
um, but yeah, no, that was fun because, like I said, sometimes you feel as actors, everyone's in some of the regular movies that's not doesn't call for like big comedic physicality, right? You're just kind of like more reserved, but doing those big physical moments and just being silly and being able to expand, your body like that is was very freeing. At the same time, it was a lot of fun. Um, and yeah, it's just, I mean, I keep saying this, but we just had a lot of fun. It felt like we were kids on a playground.
Mhm.
We were doing the scenes, but it did feel like we were just a bunch of kids, being silly, jumping around, but with structure.
Mhm. And also, what was it like getting to work at different locations while filming and being actually out in real locations? Is that something that you really enjoy as well as an actress?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We got to we got to explore a lot of places in LA. A lot of things were shut down at the time. But so we had to be very careful every location we went. Um, we couldn't really be on sets that much unless we were required to because it was the pandemics. But it was still cool to, go to different places and explore what it was like. It just we just it was definitely a different time at that moment while we were filming, because I remember there wasn't allowed to be a lot of people on set, just due to the COVID restrictions at the time. So we spent a lot of time in our little trailers, but we still got to see some cool places and be on set and get out of the house.
And were you able to also go to the festival screenings? I saw that the movie had its premiere, and what was that experience like being able to go to the different festival screenings as well for the
Yeah, I went to one of the festival screenings in San Diego, and we had another screening here as well, and it was really cool because we got a lot of amazing responses from people, and to hear uh, the audience received the film so well, like it kind of brought tears to my eyes, because you don't ever know what you're creating and how people are going to respond to it or how people are going to receive it, but people really seem to enjoy it. And it just makes you feel really good to be able to see it in the theater and feel like you created something that brings joy to a lot of people and actually see them smile.
film?
Because sometimes as actors we don't always get to see that because people watch the TVs at home, and most of the times you only get the responses from social media, but to see people's reactions in real life is very beautiful.
With the film's official release coming up now, what's that experience been like as well? Being able to share the movie and encouraging audiences to go see it now that after the festival run as well.
Well, I'm so excited. I am so excited. And I keep telling everyone. I had a premiere for last night for National Treasure, and I was telling all the people that I worked with on that set. I was like, I have this movie coming out. I'm gonna send you the link, and it's coming out. They're like, where? And I was like, they're so excited. Like, I'm only sharing this because we've had good reviews. All right. So if you have a negative review, just don't say anything because so far so good. Um, but yeah, no, everyone's excited about it. People love the trailer and they kind of feel like it's yeah, people are just really excited just from watching the trailer. So I hope they feel the same way after watching it.
I think that was mainly it, but thank you again for taking the time out to speak with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you.
You're welcome.